Hello, welcome to Do You Even Cook, Bro? And today I'll be showing you how to make some wild boar ravioli. Go ahead and grab a shallot and chop that in half and dice half of that. I do have a suggestion on the blog post what to do with the rest of the shallot, so go ahead and check that out. But in the meantime, give that half shallot a nice dice. Next, grab a clove of garlic and cut that finely or mince it. This next scene here is easily the sexiest thing I've shot on camera so far. We're going to remove the wild boar sausage from its casing. There's really nothing more to say than that. Just squeeze it out or cut the casing open and pop the sausage out. With the heat on medium, we're going to put some olive oil in a pan, wait for it to heat up a little bit, and then add our sausage. And once the sausage gets in the pan, you're going to use your spoon to just crumble as much as you can. Try to break down the sausage into lots of little pieces so you have a better distribution and it's easier to work with. We're going to keep the heat on medium the whole time here until your sausage is browned. You don't have to cook it to death though, because remember, since it's ravioli, you are going to dunk it in some boiling water for a couple minutes. So if there's still a little bit of color left in the meat, don't freak out. Now that the wild boar is browned all over, we're going to take it out of the pan and reserve that in a bowl. For this next part, I thought the camera was rolling, but it actually wasn't, so what you missed is I removed with a paper towel about half of the oil and fat left over, threw in a tablespoon of butter, let that melt, and then I threw in my diced shallots. Still on medium heat here, I'm going to be stirring my shallots around until they start to get a nice color. At that point, put in the garlic, turn the heat off, and stir for about 30 seconds or until fragrant. Once you're done doing that, just move the pan off the heat. Now mix together the meat and your garlic and shallots, and then add 4 ounces of ricotta cheese, preferably homemade ricotta cheese. Once it's somewhat incorporated, grab some Thai basil. Why Thai basil? Read about it in the blog post, but grab some of that stuff, and then we're going to chiffonade the leaves, which means roll the leaves up like you would a newspaper, and put it seam side down and make thin slices to create long ribbons. I know it looks like I barely added any basil, but I actually went back and cut about double that and added it in later. It's about 2 teaspoons, I imagine. Now that the filling's finished, lightly flour a work surface and take your pasta, which should have been resting, and if you're following this recipe exactly, cut the dough into 3 equal pieces. Roll those pieces into balls and cover with a towel. Now I'm going to kind of breeze through this whole pasta making thing quickly because I have a whole video on how to do that first. So take the balls and roll them into logs, I guess I would say, and cut into 4 equal pieces. Then cover the pieces you aren't working with a towel and lightly flour the little ball, squish it down, and roll it out. So the idea is that you want to roll the pasta for ravioli really thin, and in this case your segments, you should roll it thin enough where you should be able to make 2 ravioli with 1 piece. I'll show you here. I'm going to cut it in half, and then with a teaspoon scooper, I like to, just to keep everything the same size, put the ravioli on the dough. People always talk about an egg wash. I actually just use a tiny bit of water. You don't want to do too much or else you'll make a paste, but just around the filling, wipe it with some water. And then when that's done, peel the ravioli up, fold it over and kind of tuck it back because we're going to make the mezzaluna or half moon shape here. Once the dough's folded over, make sure you press the pasta sheets into each other so they stick, as well as you get all the extra air out around the ravioli. So just make it really nice, and it actually makes for a much better presentation. If you don't have a ravioli stamp, just go around the outside with a pizza cutter. Just make sure you leave enough space so that you can seal the edges for a nice design here with the fork, and it also makes sure that filling doesn't spill out. If you have the ravioli stamp, I think you can figure out, just press down, give it a twist, and there are your ravioli. I like to put them on a piece of wax paper and cover them in the refrigerator until I'm ready to boil them, or they actually freeze really well. Once your water's boiling, make sure you salt it, and then add in your ravioli. Right when you add it in, just move it around with the utensil to make sure it's not sticking to the bottom. The water doesn't need to be so crazy bubbling like a witch's brew, but something definitely above a simmer. Once they float to the top, need about another minute and they're done. Drain the ravioli and toss with the sauce that complements the filling. I chose a creamy tomato-based sauce that I've detailed in the blog post. Thanks for watching the video and enjoy!